Dr. Miller had seen a great deal over the many years of his veterinary career. Fractures of varying complexity, mysterious tumors, terminal diagnoses, and those piercing moments of final farewell, after which a heavy, tangible silence would linger in his clinic on the outskirts of Denver. He had long understood that his calling was inseparably bound to an immense emotional burden, to the necessity of making life-altering decisions, and to days when he had to take full responsibility for the life of a creature that could not voice its pain, yet nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared him for the chain of events that began that clear day. On that clear morning, Blanca, a stately snow-white Labrador in the very last stage of her pregnancy, was brought to his clinic in the suburbs of Denver. At first glance, she seemed no different from countless other expectant canine mothers. Her tail wagged calmly and steadily. Her movements carried quiet dignity, and she walked into the examination room without the slightest fuss, as if it were merely a routine visit for a treat. Jennifer entered alongside her, gently supporting Blanca, and the tension on her face revealed how desperately anxiety was battling hope in her heart. Blanca was about to deliver her very first litter, and Dr. Miller, offering a soft professional smile, uttered a few reassuring phrases that everything looked perfectly normal so far, and that he saw no serious reason for concern. Jennifer nodded silently, trying to steady her nerves because Blanca meant immeasurably more to her than just a pet. She was a cherished member of the Mitchell family. White Labradors are rightfully known for their exceptional balance, affectionate temperament, and almost angelic patience. And Blanca was the living embodiment of those traits, yet no one could have imagined that this particular pregnancy would turn out to be so anomalous. The Mitchell family had always treated Blanca like a person, and that was precisely why, when her due date approached, Jennifer chose not to rely on chance and brought her to Miller's clinic so the process would unfold under the vigilant supervision of the best specialists in the state, a decision that would later prove far more critical than anyone could have imagined. While examining Blanca that morning, Dr. Miller reviewed her imaging twice. Her abdomen had increased to an astonishing size since the previous visit, far beyond what he would normally expect according to medical standards. He studied the X-rays again, frowned, and quietly muttered that this day would clearly not be an easy one before carefully informing Jennifer that Blanca appeared to be expecting an exceptionally large landing party. Her eyes widened in genuine astonishment as the medical staff actively prepared the delivery room and distributed responsibilities according to protocol. Jennifer had been waiting for this triumphant day for 63 long days, the golden standard of canine gestation, living entirely according to Blanca's needs, choosing the finest food, arranging a cozy nesting area, worrying over small details, and imagining tiny paws tapping across her living room floor. When the moment of truth arrived, the clinic filled with restrained, almost electric anticipation, everyone at their posts, while Dr. Miller guided the process with characteristic composure, though even the seasoned nurses would later admit that their hearts were pounding faster than usual. He could not help but notice that Blanca, once cheerful and confident, was now visibly anxious, emitting unusual restless sounds, her breathing heavy and uneven, her gaze darting across the walls, stripped of its usual serenity, and he immediately recognized that the process would be rapid, commanding his team into full readiness because regardless of nature's surprises, Blanca needed their absolute focus. It was unbearable for Jennifer to watch her beloved companion in pain, but the doctor gently placed a hand on her shoulder and reminded her that dogs are incredibly sensitive to their owner's emotional background, and that Blanca now needed only quiet, steady support. "Just breathe with her," he whispered, and when Jennifer took a deep breath and laid her palm on Blanca's trembling back, Her touch became the very anchor that helped them both calm down. At the doctor's signal, the team and Blanca were moved into the sterile delivery area where the first puppies were about to enter the world, and the anticipation of new life seemed to vibrate in the air. The labor began as predictably as hundreds of others Dr. Miller had managed throughout his decades of practice, and soon the room sank into near-prayerful silence broken only by medical equipment and the first squeaks of newborns. And while a typical Labrador litter numbers around 6, this time nature seemed determined to set a record. First 4, then 6, 8, 10, until finally the marathon ended with exactly 12 puppies. A phenomenal trial for the mother's body. The litter amazed everyone, not only with its size but with its remarkable genetic diversity of coats. Most were classically white or cream. A couple bore a warm fawn shade, and one puppy stood out with an extraordinarily rare silver smoky sheen that instantly captured attention. The assistants exchanged glances as they recorded not only the exotic coloring, but the mathematically precise distribution of sexes. Exactly 6 males and 6 females, which in itself seemed like a statistical miracle. Yet, at that very moment, something occurred that made everyone's blood run cold. While 11 puppies were already wriggling and demanding attention, the 12th lay completely motionless and silent, and Dr. Miller immediately focused all his attention on the tiny body as the unspoken word "stillborn" seemed to hang beneath the ceiling, while Jennifer covered her mouth in horror. But the doctor refused to surrender that fragile life, persistently massaging the small chest and warming the pup in his hands. Exhausted after giving everything to her enormous litter, Blanca demonstrated astonishing sensitivity. She slowly rose, approached the table, and very gently nudged her motionless son with her wet nose, a gesture so filled with primal maternal wisdom that the room fell into absolute silence. And just as hope was nearly extinguished, the puppy took a faint, barely perceptible breath, then another. Blanca instantly began licking him with fierce devotion, as though she had known the secret to his rescue all along before finally curling protectively around her extraordinary treasure. Immense relief flooded the clinic, though Dr. Miller understood that the questions were only beginning, as the palette of coat colors continued to puzzle him. Sometime later, Jennifer contacted him again, anxiously reporting that half of the puppies had already opened their eyes while the others had not, even though biologically this milestone typically occurs almost synchronously, and the following day the doctor began a detailed examination. The first in his hands was Cooper, a puppy with a distinctive white marking whose eyes made him freeze. One was a deep brown, the other a bright, icy blue, and when he asked whether there were more anomalies, Jennifer pointed to little Cody, who possessed the same heterochromia and an unusually curved tail entirely uncharacteristic of Labradors, whose tails normally resemble straight otter rudders. Upon closer inspection, Dr. Miller realized the two were mirror images of each other, with only microscopic differences in their white markings, as if nature had created 2 copies but signed them differently, and a chill ran down his spine as he proposed an extended DNA analysis, to which Jennifer immediately agreed. When the long-awaited laboratory results arrived, they confirmed a scientific sensation. Cooper and Cody were true monozygotic twins, something long considered a myth or biological impossibility in dogs, yet the final revelation proved even more astonishing when testing of the entire litter uncovered the ultimate secret. The puppies had been conceived through superfecundation by 2 different fathers. Jennifer instantly recalled that fleeting moment during Blanca's heat when she had slipped out of sight around a corner during a walk. And now the puzzle finally assembled into one extraordinary picture. 2 different sires. 2 genetically distinct paternal lines united within a single womb, and among them a unique pair of identical twins. A story that became the most remarkable case in Dr. Miller's career and remained forever etched in the memory of everyone who witnessed that small miracle in the suburbs of Denver. Friends, share in the comments. What do you think about this story? If the video was interesting, please support us with a like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.